Yeah, what's going on? It's your boy Rob, host of From My Experience podcast, and I'm hyped because I commented on Melissa Ford's status like a week and a half ago, and she responded to me directly. Yeah, I'm hype about that. How y'all doing out there? You feeling good? You feeling alright? Life treating you well? Everything going well out there? Hope it's going well for y'all, man. Woo, man, listen. This episode right here, this time around, man, we gonna get into a few things today, man. We're gonna get into a few things today, I promise you. Yeah. Can't make it up, man. Yo, man, FME_podcast on everything. From My Experience podcast on Facebook, man. I hope y'all are feeling well. Hope y'all are doing well. Headlines. So, the 84-year-old homeowner, Andrew Lester, the one that shot Ralph Yarl, that was the young man that was picking his brother up at the school, rang the wrong doorbell, and this gentleman attempted to kill this young man. And again, if he's found guilty, he'll face no less than 10 years and up to 30 years of imprisonment. Well, Andrew Lester, at 84 years old, him and his wife have been receiving death threats. He's having health issues because he had a heart condition. And now they're saying he might not even be strong enough to go to trial. So we'll see how that turns out. But Ralph, his doctors say that he'll make a full recovery. So shout out to you, man. I'm glad that young brother pulled through, man, because that was a scary situation. Ooh-wee. LaShawn Thompson. So this was the inmate in Georgia that died from bed bugs. Apparently he had an infestation in his room. We reported this as well. He had an infestation in his cell or his room, and it was known about, and nobody ever did anything. He ended up dying. And as we reported last time, Colin Kaepernick had an independent autopsy done, and the report says dehydration, malnutrition, severe body infestation, and untreated decompensated schizophrenia was what he was suffering from. And the cause of death has now been determined to be a homicide. So let me make sure I get this correct, because that's serious. Yes, his death has now been ruled a homicide. Just wanted to make sure I verified that, man. So hopefully him and his family get justice for him being in those conditions and nobody doing anything about it, man. Those are all your headlines. I don't do sports, but looks like it's going to be Nuggets and the Heat in the final. As of today, the Lakers got swept by the Nuggets, and the Celtics are forcing a Game 5 against the Heat. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. And I got some crazy news today.
I'll be damned.
Yo, Terrence Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence is happening. When is that? I think it's happening in July in Vegas. Yo. That is great for the sport of boxing. That is great for the sport of boxing. Let me make sure. Yep, July 29th. So we'll see what happens with that, man. That's all I got for y'all now. Headlines.
Hey y'all, it's me. It's Christian Jackson, your favorite licensed therapist. I have a quick question for you, and this is no shade. Are you still stuck in that same dating cycle where you end up making choices that don't reflect who you are because you're turning into basically a chameleon, i.e. you mighty morph into whatever your new man or your new woman wants you to be? And your stomach is dropping and you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're not taking care of yourself. And yes, these are symptoms of anxiety. Relationships are the trigger, and they hard and they sometimes suck. So what do you need? 5 things that I have in the Grace Method where you can find how to move from being anxiously in love to being more confident in your relationships. Not just dating though, folks, because your kids may be walking all over you too, and you need a voice and they need to hear it, right? Come to your Grace Space. I am building a community of like-minded women who want to get together monthly to discuss how to move from being anxiously connected to their relationships to being more confident just in themselves. And this accountability community will include the option of one-on-one therapeutic coaching calls with me, access to experts, and more. Go to couchwithchristian.com. That is couchwithchristian.com. Follow me on IG at couchwithchristian, and I'll see you there.
All right, we back. Man, listen. The title of this episode is This Time Around, and I titled this episode This Time Around because a few things are happening in my life, and again, I'm seeing things on social media, so once again, on From My Experience podcast, I'm going to share my experience. This time around, so the theme of that really came from, what do we do when situations present themselves to us again? Similar situations. Life in general, just when you're on your path trying to get things done, and relationship-wise. So the relationship thing came from something I saw on social media. Gabrielle Union was talking about how she splits bills 50-50 with Dwayne Wade. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't really delve too deep into it or even look at it. I just kind of saw the headline because I'm kind of over hearing about relationship stuff. I've actually been kind of weaning a lot of that off my timeline because I find it funny that single people are out here giving the absolute most relationship advice, but you single. So you're not even in a committed relationship. So I get it. You can give advice because you have experiences. I give advice on here of situations I'm not currently in because I have the experiences. But I would love to hear more from married couples, people who are going through it right now, people who are in it right now, people who have some years in, to talk about the highs, the lows, when they wanted to quit, when they wanted to give up, because they're still in it and they stayed and they stuck it out for some reason. I get it. Everyone can't be in that situation. I'm not in that situation, but I would just love to hear more of that because when it comes to this time around, recently, golly, now I can't remember her name. I just drew a blank. Well, anyway, on social media, two sisters. Lord, hold on, I gotta get these names. Please hold. Ebony K. Williams. I don't know why I couldn't remember her name. Oh, man, let me tell you. I don't know Ebony personally. But I just don't know. I'm going to see if y'all can hear this. I'm going to play the clip so y'all can have some context.
Hey, Monique, are you splitting the bills? I'm going to make it personal. Are you going to split the bills with a man who made more than $200 million during his NBA career, but you too are also a multimillionaire? What do you think?
Right. So even if I were a millionaire, I would just be straight up, I'm not giving a man his change.
Okay? Under no circumstances am I giving a man money. If it's payday and they ask me to pass out the paychecks, somebody else is going to have to give the men theirs, because under no circumstances am I giving a man money. And that's just where I stand on that. Well, I think you know how I feel about it. And yet, clearly, right? I think for me, a lot of us, I think this is generational, right? I think let's set some foundational points. I think this is generation. I know I was raised with a single black mother that said exactly what you just said, Monique. We don't supplement men in this house, period. And at that point, when we're going to be going 50-50, almost like a roommate situation. Well, at that point, Monique, I might as well be married to you and share a household with you. So that's my perspective. But I think this younger generation, I think they do feel differently. I think that they do tend to feel more egalitarian. And again, I think, and Dwayne Wade is younger. We have to remember there's an age gap between Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. So I think that these younger men have a very difficult time with these traditional notions of them being head of household and that translating to them taking care of the bills.
Okay. I've given my 2 cents on something similar to this, right? So this is what I posted under that. All personal preference. What doesn't get talked about are the details. When and if you want a man to pay all the bills, define that. Does that mean the bills he had before you were in the picture and the bills you bring into the relationship? What do you think he deserves in return? What bills are we talking about? Household bills only? Are we including car payments and insurance, student loans, cell phone, groceries, car and house maintenance? Who pays for vacations? Who covers those things? So is the idea he is expected to pay for all of these things and you keep all of your money and use it at your discretion? I'm genuinely curious, and I am genuinely curious about that. One thing I've learned is that people who raised us definitely did the best they could, but they were not always right. And men and women have different standards and expectations in the world today. That is very true. The world is a much different place and a much more expensive place. Do what works for you in your relationship. The two of you are in it together, and both of you are trading the lifestyle and mindset of being single for the lifestyle of being selfless and building with someone else. Too many people are focused on what they demand or want to receive versus what they are offering in return. So here's my thing. I think so many people are caught up in arguing the point. Everybody's relationship is different. How everyone divides whatever it may be in their relationship is different. And all of these ideals and concepts we have about relationships come from past experiences and the way we were raised. So hence this time around. So I get it. When someone burns you or does you dirty or a situation doesn't work out, we tend to go back and look at it and say, okay, what am I going to do differently this time? And we try to make corrections. And sometimes, probably more often than not, we overcorrect. You go a little too extreme. I've been guilty of it. You overcorrect, and now you put yourself, instead of maybe being more vulnerable, now you may be a bit more unreasonable. And again, I'm not talking about Ebony K. Williams or anyone in specific. I'm speaking in general because I myself have done this. And that's where we have to be careful. And hence, this time around, because the way I view relationships and the way they should work, this is one of the reasons why you should keep people out of your business. They start implanting and injecting ideas and ideals that didn't exist in your relationship when y'all were perfectly fine. And now they're trying to tell you two people who are in the relationship that's working, oh, y'all doing it wrong. Why he making you do that? Or, why is she doing that? Why is she talking to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it may be. But I'm genuinely curious. If you are a woman making 100, let's say y'all both making 6 figures and the expectation is he pays all the bills. What is he getting in return? Is my question. Like, what are you offering him to where he is? Because, we keep generalizing it and saying all the bills. What are all the bills? Are we just talking about the bills we've created together again? Or are we talking about all the bills you bring with you? Because you bring bills into a relationship. Cell phone, car payment, if you have it, car insurance, household bills, Like, there's just other things you bring your debt, your credit card bills. So is it, hey, I'll take care of my bills, you take care of your bills, but like the mortgage, water, electricity, cable, you do that. What about vehicle repairs? I'm asking because what kind of dynamic does that create if we both make, let's say we make the same amount, but I'm paying all the bills. So what about your money? That's what's not talked about, because the defense is always, well, we'll use my money for savings, or we'll use my money for this. Why do you think you get to dictate and determine what I should do with my money when I'm the one that's going out to earn it? I get it. You can have your own expectation, but be prepared to have the discussion. And again, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I do know that I'm not going to say a lot. I do know that some men who make the kind of money to where they're paying all the bills, they don't want their woman to work. Because if I can cover everything, why are you working? You can stay and take care of the house. But if you're going to go out and work and earn 50, 60, 70, 80K, what we doing with your money? Because people talk about head of the household. If I'm head of household, that means all the money comes to me and I delegate, not the other way around. And see, that's the other thing. So I say all that to say, this time around, when you think about what you want out of a relationship, because typically we want more and we want better than what we had last time. But you have to think about what you're asking for and what you're willing to give in return. Because if your ask keeps growing, the expectations on you are going to grow as well. If you dated a guy with no job and say, okay, I'm not doing a guy with no job anymore. Okay, cool. Well, I dated a guy with a job, but he didn't make enough money. All right, cool. So I'm moving on from this. Well, now I'm dating a guy and he made good money, but he didn't treat me well. Or vice versa with a man. I dated a shorty and she had a job, but she was inconsistent, didn't know what she wanted to do with her life, so I moved on. Well, I dated the next girl. She was so focused on her career that she wasn't focused on the relationship. So now I'm moving on. All those things play a factor into who you want to date next and what you want from that next person. So in your mind, you're building this ideal relationship. But you have to remember, you also cannot be the same person that you were in all of those past relationships. Because the more you ask, the more that they're going to ask of you. The more that's going to be expected of you. Like if I do want my woman to cook, clean, have my clothes ready, or pick the kids up from school, help them with their homework and all that, then yeah, I do need to be able to provide everything else. Because she's going to be so caught up in doing that. Yes, I'm demanding a lot of her, and she's going to demand a lot of me. And vice versa. If you want a man to literally, I'm just going to take the literal term, a man to come into your life and now all of your bills are eliminated. All of your bills. Stuff that he had nothing to do with before you met him. He's going to take on the responsibility of all of your bills. Think about what you need to give that man in return. That's all I'm saying. Because I don't know. I've never heard a woman that says, I'll pay all the bills. I'm willing to do that. Never in my life have I heard it. Ever. They're probably out there, but I've never heard it. And again, I'm not saying it's wrong. What I'm saying is, again, when it comes to this time around, that second chance, that next opportunity, take a step back and really reflect and look at the dynamics of the type of relationship that you want, the person that you were in those relationships, the person that you are now. And yeah, making those corrections are cool, but be careful not to overcorrect. Because sometimes when we overcorrect, again, you put yourself out of bounds. You put yourself in that extreme area to where what you're looking for, you're probably not going to find. Because they're either already married or there just aren't enough to go around. And we already had a discussion about statistically how if you want to date a black man in a certain tax bracket, numbers wise, there's not enough. There's not enough for the amount of women that want that type of guy. He's got his pick. Because it's a lot of y'all and not a lot of us. Onward, moving forward, man. But just again, do not let social media and outside influences have a negative impact on your relationship. If your relationship is working, work at that relationship with the person you're in the relationship with. Be careful who you solicit advice from as well. And also say to yourself, if you're single, because I'm single right now, don't know when I'm going to start dating again, but I have to sit and reflect on my past relationships again and say, okay, who is Rob now? Which I'm going to lead into right now when it comes to this time around. Who am I now? Where am I headed now? And what do I want in a woman now? This time around. So one of my things that I've historically done that I know that I've done is I've put what I've been trying to do on the back burner when I got into relationships, because obviously relationships demand time, attention. You know, your woman needs a certain level of comfort and security and time and attention, just like I do, right? And I'm at a place now where I have a new opportunity. I have a new opportunity or another opportunity. This is my second time or third time around with a new opportunity to do some really great things. And I've said to myself, yo, it's happening again. Because once you've been through it a few times, you recognize it. Excuse me. Choking on my water. You recognize when the reset button has been hit. Now, my reset button was obliterated. Ooh, excuse me, hiccups. It was obliterated, right? So I had to really sit and think about the personal aspect of my life. And I thought about, who I was, where I am, and where I wanted to be, and I made a decision. Try not to overcorrect. I don't think I did. I think I made a great decision, actually. And now, here I am again. Grand opportunity. And I feel like at a certain point, I'm going to be faced with a crossroads. Excuse me. And I look back and I reflect on what I've done in my past when I got to crossroads and what results that they yielded. And my thought process as to why I made the decision that I made. And I know I'm going to have to do that again probably within the next year or two. But I'm preparing myself now and thinking about it and reflecting on it now and reviewing my goals and looking at what I'm working on and working towards now so that when that comes, it's an easier decision. I'm not blindsided because I've been here before. I'm going to toot my own horn. I know that I'm a great employee. I know that people are genuinely drawn to me. I know that I can help a company or an organization grow. I know that my skill set is unique and my ability to reach and teach others is unique and highly sought after. So people want it. I'm likable. Funny enough, because I'm an introvert. I be in my room playing Xbox, talking with the homies on Xbox. I don't go out socially. Me and my mom chill, take her out to eat, but I don't really socialize. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a cool person and I hear what people have to say. I have a conversation. We keep it moving. But in reflecting and looking at this time around, I'm like, all right, what we doing? You know, I don't need tons and tons and tons and tons of outside advice. I got my people that I talk to. I have myself. But this time around, what are we going to do differently? What do we want this time around? We got to think about that. And that's important when it comes to your life, not just the relationship aspect, but your personal life. All right, the reset button was hit. What do I want this time around? And for me, it's to stick to my guns. It's to stick to, I'm doing this, which is From My Experience podcast. I'm doing a podcast masterclass. Logo's almost done. Almost done. Then I can relaunch the website. And then I got to pilot the class with a few more people. Almost done. Doing some final revisions on the logo. And then Pass the Peas app. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Carl Van. If you have not downloaded Pass the Peas app, the family keepsake app where you can upload your recipes and create collaborative cookbooks and add video steps in your recipes so you have those family archive memories forever. Go download Pass the Peas app. That's where my focus is. From My Experience podcast, Pass the Peas app, my career. 3 things right now. And I'm not budging. In the past, I've budged. My last relationship, I actually didn't budge. I was actually about to ramp up and do another business. So I did make some good corrections and changes from the relationship before that. I definitely did. But when the time comes and I'm ready to get back out there, I got to look at my last relationship and say, okay, what adjustments need to be made? What needs to happen here? And make sure I'm not making overcorrections. And to be 1,000% honest, I never really asked for much. I'm pretty self-sufficient. Like I'm used to doing everything myself, like my own cooking, cleaning, I'm just used to it. Like, so I've been told that, my ex-girlfriend did tell me that she found it hard to just find a place. And I'm like, of course she filled the space and filled the place. But I'm like, these are just habitual things. Like, I'm just used to doing my laundry. I'm used to not asking people for anything. It's nothing personal. I'm just used to it because I've just always been, on my own for so long and doing it for so long. It's not like, oh, you're here now, I'm just going to quit. Like, no, like my drawers need to be washed. I'm going to go do it. I ain't going to say, hey, babe, you going to do my laundry? Like, if you want to do it, you do it. That's just how I flow. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this time around, man, I'm not going to take things for granted. I've been thanking God every day. I'm excited, I'm happy, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And that's the other thing, man. Be grateful that there is another time around. Like, for real. Like, it may not look exactly like it looked last time. Why do I have my Ring camera on? It might not look exactly how it looked last time. And I've talked about this in a positive vibe, how sometimes we pray for things and we miss the blessing because it's not wrapped up in this beautiful, pretty package we wanted to be wrapped up in. Woo! Woo! Y'all might need to. I'm gonna repost that. Matter of fact, it'll be in the FME podcast story tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but yeah, Thursday, today, right now, whenever you listen to this. Man, you don't want to miss it. I'll give you an example, man. I was making a certain amount of money before I came back to South Carolina, and I was looking for a job where I would make the same or more. I'm like, yo, I ain't going backwards. And I did. I felt, I am qualified for quite a few positions, but the job market is highly competitive. But the position that I got, I looked at it, and the salary ain't terrible. It's good salary, decent salary. I just wanted more. But once I got into the organization and looked around and saw my benefits and stuff like that, the opportunity to make what I was making or more is still there. Like, one of their policies is you don't have to, within your department, promotions can happen at any time. So you don't have to work 6 months, a year, 2 years before you get a promotion. If you're doing your thing and there's a space available and you go for it within your department, you can get it. That's dope. If you want to switch departments, 6 months. That's quick. 6 months goes by like nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I thank God for that opportunity. And I recognize the blessing in it. And to be 1,000, one of the things I wanted was a hybrid job where I could work from home. They have that. An opportunity for career growth. They have that. A job that will allow me to travel. They have that. Great benefits. They have that. And something that's intrinsically fulfilling. They have that. I'm doing something that's a noble cause that's actually needed, a service that's needed. So everything I prayed for and asked for, is it wrapped up the way that I thought it would be wrapped up or the way I actually really wanted it to be from the beginning? No. But everything I asked for is still there. It's just structured differently. But I recognize it. I sat and I listened and I just continued to thank God. And I was like, this is everything I asked for. This is everything I asked for and more. Because what I didn't ask for, I didn't talk about work environment and the people I'm working with, and they all cool too. Love the vibe. Love the vibe. Love the vibe. I'm talking and socializing, and I don't do that. I'm typically at a job 6-7 months paying attention to who you are before I even really open up to you. So this time around, baby, we're going to be focused on what we got going, and we're not going to let it fall by the wayside. One of my businesses fell by the wayside because of my situation and my life circumstances. And I just let it stay there because I said, yo, what we doing this time around? You hit the reset button. What we doing? In the past, you've done too much. You have done too much. Focus. All right. From my experience podcast, pass the peas, your job. You can juggle 3, 5 new pie. Hey, you can juggle 3 things. And that's what we doing, man. And that's what it is. Now, when it comes to relationships and moving forward with my love life, again, I'm going to reflect on that. But they're going to know, hey, this is my life. This is the way my life's set up. These are the things that I have going on. These may be some potential things. I lay things out in the beginning. You know, those of you who know me personally, if you don't believe me, ask any of my ex-girlfriends. One of the things you will hear or know about me is I'm very upfront. Within the first 30 days, you'll know everything you really need to know. The important stuff. You'll know the goals, the plans. We can talk salary. We can talk credit score, whatever you want to talk about. Because I'm not trying to waste your time and I don't want you to waste mine. Here's what I expect. Here's what I think a relationship should look like. Well, what do you think? Oh, I never thought about that. Let's kick out this idea I had and bring in your idea. I'm willing to try that. That's the other thing. Are y'all willing to compromise? Because some people, they've compromised in the past, and now it's like, no, this is a deal breaker. Whoo, them deal breakers be switching up. Them deal breakers be switching up, man. But it's like people have lost the art of conversation. It is a relationship. There are two people with two sets of experiences and two sets of quote unquote standards or expectations. Y'all got to figure out how to blend them together. You're not going to meet someone day one. Well, you can't expect to meet someone day one and everything just mix and mush and it's perfect. Don't let the Instagram and Facebook and all these other social medias fool you. Steve Harvey said it best. You seeing a highlight. You seeing people showing you the absolute very best that they got right then in that moment. They might have just been arguing before they got on there. But we got to make this post so we can get paid. But if you don't communicate, if you're not willing to get out of your own way, good luck. If you're not willing to compromise, good luck. If you're not willing to give as good as you get, good luck. If you are not honest with yourself and looking in the mirror and saying, maybe we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and make this adjustment, good luck. Best of luck to you. Some people are sticking to their guns and calling everybody wrong and this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, you have none of the things that you say you want and none of the things that meet your standards. You don't have them on any level, not just relationships, your life, your career. We set these standards, but are we doing the work? Are we being realistic with ourselves? Are we prepared for what we're asking for? Yes, I believe in God and I will have it. And I do believe in that. But I also believe in grounding myself in the reality and the fact that I got to do the work too. I can't just expect it to be delivered in this beautiful, pretty package. Sometimes I might have to do, not sometimes, typically you're going to have to do some building and some reconstruction of what's been given to you and also on yourself. And the end result could be all those things. But are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to put in the work? Let me highlight my brothers, man. Brothers, kings, strong brothers, intelligent brothers, my dapper, debonair brothers, my powerful brothers, my impactful brothers. What is going on, man? This time around, brothers, I'm going to encourage you today not to give in to peer pressure. Boy, let me tell you, when people benefit off of who you are and what you do for them and they don't show you appreciation for it and they come back around, what you gonna do? What you gonna do this time around? I will take, you know what? I'm gonna draw inspiration from Pyramids and Diamonds. Shout out to P&D Group on Instagram. Love y'all. Some of the greatest laughs I've had scrolling on my phone come from that group. Very chill vibes, funny vibes. There was a post in there. Sorry, if you're not a noob or a devastating diva, you can't get in there. and you will be checked and verified at the door. But there is a post about a guy. A guy made a post talking about his homeboy is mad at him because he checked him. They was in a club or a strip club or something like that, and his homeboy was married and trying to holler at other women. And he like, yo, I ain't pay all this money to go to your wedding and celebrate with you at the bachelor party for you to like this marriage to end. Like, what's wrong with you? You checking? Like, I'm checking you on that. Like, that's not cool. And he called his homeboy a hater. This time around, so yes, made me reflect on my younger days when I knew people was doing dirt. And minding your business is cool, but when those circles overlap. Because I went to a small school. Shout out to Claflin University. I love you, my CU family. CU Panthers, Panther Pride. It's a small school. So a lot of us were friends of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. And if you heard someone's name and you didn't know who they were yesterday, within that week, you would know who they are. And you probably realize you had a class or two with them, right? And not just there, but even in high school and even a little after that, when people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing in a relationship and they want you to cover for them and they got these harebrained schemes, that stuff can spill over to you because you standing next to them. Yeah, you might be minding your business, but if that's your boy or that's your girl and they getting down like that, how you getting down, right? And you might have been cool with it when you're younger, but when that situation presents itself again, kind of like when you get older, and they don't have to be relationship-wise. I just use that as an example because I thought that was dope that he checked them. Because I think that's the right thing to do. You need to check them. Like, yo, if that's how you gonna roll, yo, that's not cool. Like, I ain't trying to be in your wife face smiling, hey sis, what's going on? Knowing that you smashing other women behind her back. Like, that's a crazy way to feel. So when I say when this time around, whether it's that kind of thing or you did a favor and they don't show the appreciation, those people continue to come back around. And the question I have for you brothers is, are you gonna check them? Are you going to check them? Like, yo, man, you keep coming back around with the same story, the same thing. Bro, we need to have a different conversation this time. Like, I'm not going to keep doing this, and you shouldn't be doing this. If we really friends, if we really boys, we should be able to have that discussion. And I should see some changed behavior. So this time around, brothers, man, hey, assuming that, not even assuming, I know y'all my age range, I'm 38. I don't look it, but I'm 38. So even when you're younger, man, if you're younger listening to this, man, check your homeboys, man. Like, stuff ain't cool, and it has an impact. It has an impact, man. It has an impact on the relationships that they have in the future, not just romantic, your friendships, your business relationships. It has an impact on that. But remember, if you standing next to this person and someone doesn't know you, all they know is you standing next to that person. So if that person ain't good and they don't have a good reputation, what do you think people gonna say about you? And that's all I got for y'all, man. I love y'all. I really do love y'all, man. Thank you for rocking with your boy, man. Things are just back on track. This time around, we gonna keep it moving with the game plan. We gonna make these adjustments. We gonna make these changes. We gonna be careful not to overcorrect. Very, very careful not to overcorrect. And we're going to do what's best for us because right now it's just on us. Shout out to From My Experience podcast family, all of you out there. Shout out to my boy Carl Van and Pass the Peas app. Download Pass the Peas app. Pass the Peas app. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we at with it, man. So, again, take some time. Reflect, make those changes, have some conversations. It's your life, man. It's your life. Make the decisions that are best for you, but also be prepared to live with the results of the decisions that you make, all right? It ain't always easy, but you got to live with the results. It's your life. Until next time, take care of yourselves physically, mentally, and financially. Catch y'all next time. Peace.